Okay, so I finished off my tapestry weaving, and then I did another block of a little bit of color blocking at the top to kind of mimic what was happening at the bottom. Since this is going to be a clutch, I've been weaving all the way around the loom. Now I'm working on the flap. So I'm going for a little bit of a different pattern on the flap. I'm trying to do some horizontal stripes and then a checkerboard pattern. I'm having some issues with draw-in, as you can see, and I've tried my best. I don't know what exactly to do to prevent that. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see I did create a buttonhole. And the reason I did that is because I'd like to be able to close the clutch. So to do the buttonhole, it was really simple. All I did was just weave back and forth on one side, getting up to about the height that I thought it would be. Then I switched to the other side and just wove back and forth. And then I resumed my horizontal stripe, and now I'm back on my checkerboard pattern. The checkerboard pattern's a little tricky, but I thought I'd show you some tricks so that it won't maybe be as difficult for you to give it a go. So I'm weaving with 2 needles. See if I can get a better angle for you. Weaving with 2 needles, which is so much fun, let me tell you. When you get to the end, it gets a little bit weird because you're going to do some things you don't normally do when you're weaving. You know, weaving the pattern is always over and under. However, when you get to the end, you have to do something twice. You have to go, in this case, I'm going to go over twice. So I just went under, and now I'm on the white pattern since I just finished blue, and I'm going over and then over again because what I'm trying to do is create a vertical line. And in order to do that, I have to have all my white strings weaving the same pattern, meaning they're always going under, over, under, over. And then my blue strings will always be doing the same pattern. And that's how I've been creating those vertical stripes. Weave one and then the other, doing the same patterns. So for me, to get to that over, I have to go over the string twice. If I go under it, then what will happen is this white string, this warp string, won't be caught by the white string. So there's going to be a little hole right here. So that's why I have to go over 2 times, then under, over. And I always double check and just make sure I'm doing the same weft pattern. So there's my over and there's my over. Now I would normally weave all the way across, but for the sake of showing you what to do next, I'll just pause right here. Trying really hard not to have that draw in. And so you see it kind of grabbed that white warp string right there. And since I'm using this gold yarn that I want to be on the outside, I've just kind of been flipping that gold leafing around. Okay, so I went over twice before. Now I'm going to go under twice, and that will help me get back on track for my blue pattern because it's the opposite of that white one. Now, let's see if I actually did that right. I'm having a really hard time with knots, probably because my string is just too doggone long. Good job being a great example. Like it's getting worse. There we go. It helps to wind, I have found. Okay. And I'm trying, like I said, really hard not to have any more draw in. Now, what I'm about to do is go all the way to the end. But like I said, for the sake of showing you, since I'm trying to create a checkerboard, what I've been doing is having the white string in a pattern, and then I switch the pattern so that it moves and shifts over to create kind of a checkerboard look. So when you're ready to switch, I've been using my blue string. When I get all the way to the end with the blue string, instead of switching to the white, I go back with the blue. I'll show you. So if I were to weave all the way to the end, this time I'm not having my 2, oops, I am actually. I'm not having my 2 strings do the same thing. I'm going the opposite. We'll just do it right here for the sake of showing you. And now, when I'm ready to do the white will have shifted, oops, so that my cubes, my little stacked pattern, will now be scooted back, and therefore making kind of a checkerboard pattern. So now if I continue, see now how the white is over here. So it's shifted back to this kind of pattern. I hope that makes sense. It's a little tricky to demonstrate in a short amount of time. I'm hoping that this and the visuals I'm going to include will really help explain this process a lot better. It's fun, and I think the end result's going to look great. You do have to really focus and pay attention. So there you have it. Thanks, guys.